Uh, yeah, welcome. Welcome back to me being here, hanging out. Uh, if you're here from Pumpkin Hill Radio, what up? If you're not familiar, just get on the main. That's the main show. Get on the main show. Check it out. We got so much. We're almost at episode 100. Um, yeah, rocks. A lot of stuff going on there. Bunch of content on the Patreon. You're gonna want to check that out too if you're into this. If not, just hit the comments or something. I don't know. But we're out here. We're doing this again. I'm getting into some Project Bluebeam stuff just because it seems relevant. Some other stuff related. Got a couple things I want to get to. Behold a Pale Horse by Bill Cooper. Got a good interview of him. He kind of was like the first on all this stuff. Pretty interesting stuff there. But yeah, let's just get into. Let's start with just a nice overview of Project Bluebeam. See if anything sounds familiar with it.
That every eye on Earth believes it is real. What if across every continent, every faith, and every culture, people see their most sacred figure dancing through the clouds, only to discover that what they witnessed was nothing but a carefully engineered lie? This is the story of Project Bluebeam, a conspiracy theory born in the mind of one man and spread through whispers of secret societies and rumors of advanced technology. Serge Monast was not always a conspiracist. Born in Quebec in 1945, he began his career writing poems and essays, covering politics for local newspapers, and exploring the fringes of social credit theory. In the early 1990s, after founding the International Free Press Agency, Monast turned his attention to a far darker subject, the New World Order. Inspired by the naval intelligence officer William Guy Carr, he believed that unseen masters were pulling strings behind world events. Monast's book, Project Bluebeam, NASA, published in the mid-1990s, claimed that NASA itself would spearhead a series of events so terrifying and so breathtaking that every human being would kneel before a single, unified deity. Monast first predicted the plan's enactment in 1983. When nothing happened, he reset his clock to 1995, then to 1996, and finally to the year 2000. His followers shrugged off each failure of timing, arguing that the conspirators had only delayed their timetable, not abandoned it. Despite these missed deadlines, Monast spoke at UFO conventions and on the TV show Esoterism Experimental, cultivating a small but fervent audience that believed the plan was ongoing, hidden in every piece of advanced technology. At the heart of Project Bluebeam are 4 stages of psychological warfare.
Nice.
The first stage involves engineered archaeology.
Yeah.
Monast claimed that under the guise of new seismic research, secret weapons would trigger earthquakes at ancient sites around the world. Out of the crumbled ruins, newly discovered artifacts, fake relics designed to rewrite human history, would...
I mean, that sounds like what they found under the pyramids. Maybe not earthquakes, but I mean, maybe there's more to come with that, but it sounds a lot like, LiDAR. They're using LiDAR to do this. Be like, oh, there's like actually a super advanced ancient civilization, and the pyramids are much larger. There's much more to them. We'll see.
According to Monast, these findings would discredit every major religion, idols would be exposed as frauds, sacred texts would be recast as errors, and millions of believers would lose their spiritual foundation overnight. Hollywood had already prepared us for such revelations, Monast argued. Films like 2001: A Space Odyssey and Indiana Jones had conditioned audiences to expect that buried mysteries would upend everything we thought we knew about ourselves. The second stage is the Piece de Resistance, a global holographic spectacle. Imagine satellites and ground-based laser platforms working in unison to project three-dimensional images across the sky. In Jerusalem, worshippers would see the Jewish Messiah. In Mecca, pilgrims would witness the voice of Allah ringing out from the heavens. In Rome, the figure of Christ would float above the Vatican. Then, in an act of cosmic unity, all these deities would merge into one, forming what Monast called the electronic Antichrist. He claimed
Oh,
that
shit.
Soviet computing power would weave complex, personalized illusions tailored to each individual's brainwave patterns, ensuring that the apparition felt as real as your own heartbeat. In this moment of shared astonishment and terror, the stage would be set for the ultimate power grab. The world would cry out for salvation, and a single, centralized authority would answer. Stage 3 amplifies the assault from spectacle to subversion, tele-electro-brainwashing. Monast described satellites emitting extremely low-frequency radio waves that could communicate directly with the human brain. These ELF transmissions, he said, would carry voices, messages from the new deity, speaking personally to each listener. Dismissive skeptics, Monast warned, would be caught off guard when the Messiah spoke in their minds at night, giving them no time to resist. Although mainstream science regards this as fantasy,
yeah, that's voice-to-skull technology. That's there's patents for that. It's already a thing.
Like the so-called microwave auditory effect lend a chilling hint of plausibility. In documented tests, subjects have reported hearing voices simulated by directed radio waves. Monast seized on these fringe findings to claim that perfectly targeted neural messaging was within reach of shadowy government agencies. The fourth and final stage is a three-part crescendo of engineered panic. First, a propaganda blitz overwhelms every news outlet and social feed with reports of an alien invasion. Doctored footage, staged eyewitnesses, and fake testimonials fueling mass terror. Next, a secret ground-based machine will simulate a rapture, lifting chosen individuals into the sky in a live-streamed spectacle that convinces millions scripture has come to pass. Finally, every modern device, from TVs to smart appliances, will simultaneously display grotesque visions, crimson skies, demonic faces, and cosmic symbols. Monast warned that this synchronized assault would shatter social cohesion, driving terrified populations to beg for a guiding hand. At that desperate moment, the New World Order would emerge, offering peace and unity, on its own terms. Monast died suddenly of a heart attack in December 1996, shortly after his final public lecture. His followers insist he was silenced for getting too close to the truth. Skeptics call him a delusional alarmist. Regardless, the myth of Project Bluebeam refuses to fade. On YouTube channels, late-night podcasts, and internet forums, believers point to real-world analogs, government patents for weather control lasers, military research into neural weapons, and even the rise of immersive AR and VR technologies. They argue that if HoloLens and large-scale concert holograms are real, a skywide projection is only a matter of scale. If targeted audio transmissions exist, perfectly precise brain-to-brain broadcasts are not far behind. Critics, however, highlight the unparalleled technical challenges, the immense energy required for large-scale atmospheric holography, the difficulty of producing true 360-degree projections visible from multiple angles and locations, and the near impossibility of mapping and manipulating the unique electrical patterns of every individual brain. They argue that coordinating such an operation on a global scale would require not only unprecedented technological power but also flawless timing and control over mass perception.
Well, it's actually not that hard, because if you get everyone on this on like certain frequencies, I mean, all you have to do is blast them with enough like of the same content. So we all have phones. We're all fucking addicted to our TVs and phones, watching the new shows, seeing the new streams, the podcast, and it's all blasting you. Even just like Wi-Fi, 5G, like this stuff is hitting you with certain frequencies that's going to put you in a certain frequency. So when they emit this other radio wave to like brainwash you, essentially, it's just going to, I mean, it's already they're paving the way for it, basically, if we're not already there. And it's only ramping up, so I don't know. I feel like I'm about done with that one. I just want to see what this guy's got to say more.
Blood, which is called blood atonement, which was practiced by Freemasonry in the early days and supposedly is not practiced now. But in reality is the method of choice of execution, trial and execution by Freemasons. The Bilderberg group that orders his execution is the Supreme World Council of Freemasonry, and consists of 39 permanent members, which is 3 times 13, which is also the exact number of men who signed the Constitution, 39. You see, our forefathers were also members of this secret group, and this country was founded to bring about the New World Order. And it's all in the Great Seal of the United States, which was, and that the design of the Great Seal was made law in 1782. It's just
Also,
absolutely-
okay, so this is Bill Cooper. Just a little like history on him. He was kind of out here talking this stuff. He was a huge critic of Alex Jones in like the 90s, saying he was like a fearmonger and like, you know, he was that like controlled like misinformation kind of a guy. But they say a lot of the same kind of stuff, which is interesting to me. Because I don't know, I think Alex Jones is pretty entertaining, but I see him as an entertainer. I think he's kind of just riding a wave at this point. I don't know if he's really. It's more of like a predictive programming at this point. The people he's surrounded by, I just think it's like a captured kind of a thing, whether he realizes it or not. I think he's a pretty genuine guy when he talks, but that doesn't mean. I mean, you can be genuine and honest, but that doesn't mean you're not being like led and shown things and controlled. I don't think this guy was, because he died in a shootout when he was being arrested for tax evasion. So that's
Well,
interesting.
American people don't understand that groups of men don't get together and meet in secret and take blood oaths which say that they can be cut open and their heart ripped out of their body and their intestines scattered over the floor if they talk about the secrets. That's not a benevolent fraternity.
Nah.
That's a dangerous group of men. Grown men don't play games like that. They're serious. It's the secret societies who are bringing about the New World Order. They're the ones who killed John F. Kennedy. There's nothing wrong with our Constitution or our Bill of Rights. But Americans are going to be convinced that our government sucks. Mm-hmm. And that's what all this stuff is all about.
So at the beginning, the founders of this country actually did create what was I guess you could say, an above-board good government basis for a good government.
Yes. They gave us every tool to ensure the success. But it was an experiment, you see, because man had always claimed that he could rule himself, but had never been allowed to do that. Even in ancient Rome, they call it a democracy. The man didn't rule himself. He was ruled by other people who made man think he was ruling himself. But the truth was, a Roman centurion could march down the street and grab anybody they wanted to and make you do whatever they wanted to, or just execute you on the spot. And that was the truth of the matter. Those weren't free people. In the history of the world, there's never been a people who were truly free or who truly ruled themselves until the United States of America was created as a republic by which we ruled ourselves through elected representatives whom we sent to the State House, either in the states or to Congress, to do it. They also gave us every tool by which we would destroy ourselves if we weren't capable of doing it. The United States and France, the revolution in this country and the revolution in France, were created to bring about governments which would function as the antithesis to the kings and queens of the world and cause them to topple off their thrones. It also gave man a chance to prove once and for all whether he could rule himself or not. And if he could, fine. That would be the New World Order. If he couldn't, they built the tools into the Constitution to allow them to take it away from us. And those tools are the creation of the federal democracy within the boundaries of Washington, D.C., and the right to contract, through which, if we were irresponsible, we would contract to receive rights from that federal democracy and thus, in return, give up our freedom. And that's exactly what's happening. It's exactly what we've done. John F. Kennedy was short-circuiting the New World Order. He had ordered the printing of constitutional money, United States notes, which would have destroyed the Federal Reserve, which is not an agency of the United States government. It's a private corporation owned and operated by the world bankers, controlled by the Illuminati. And its purpose was to destroy the middle class in this country and thus our economy, and throw us at the mercy of the New World Order.
And we see this unfolding now.
You see it unfolding now. You are seeing, and I predicted this well in advance, you are seeing the destruction of the economy of the United States. And it will continue. It will not get better.
Look at us
Downhill
now.
from here on out. Unless we nationalize the Federal Reserve, lock up the criminals who own it, cancel the debt, which will then bankrupt the Illuminati, which is exactly what we ought to do, print constitutional money, which cannot be usurped, which cannot lead to our destruction, and go back to what we're supposed to do, and quit contracting for benefits. We're escaping from the laws of nature, and there's a terrible consequence for that.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible consequence. We have to function within the laws of nature. You can't contract for somebody else to keep you alive. You have to be responsible within your life to keep yourself alive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't do it, then you have to die. That's the law of nature.
Oh,
You
interesting.
see.
That's pretty brutal,
Kennedy
but
also did a lot of other things.
that's brutal. But I think we're like at that point, right? Like, bro, if you can't take care of yourself, then you're gonna die. It's hard. That's like intense to grasp that like the reality of that. It's scary, but I think that's like kind of how the world's supposed to be.
I mean, he was a believer in the Bible. These men who are bringing about the New World Order don't believe in the God of the Bible. They believe in the God of light, Lucifer, the angel of light, who was flung down to the earth and became the Lord of the world. That's their God. That's why everything they do goes against what people know to be the right thing to do. They believe that man was held prisoner by a vindictive, cruel God named Jehovah in the Garden of Eden. And that Lucifer, through his agent Satan, set man free from the bonds of ignorance to which he was chained to the Garden of Eden, and thus brought the gift of intellect, wisdom, to man, and thus is the true benevolent God. And man, with his intellect and his wisdom and his knowledge, will create technology which will elevate man to the position of God. And all this is allegorical. Don't take the story literally, you see, because it's all allegorical. They believe that intellect, reason, is the light, is the true God, is what makes man God. And I'm not going to debate the right or wrongness of that, because who the hell knows? But I can tell you that they pervert whatever it is that might be divine about their philosophy by becoming what they profess to destroy.
To destroy, yes.
And so,
Interesting.
in their zeal to bring about the New World Order,
Inverse.
they destroyed
Perverse.
the political will of the nation when they assassinated John F. Kennedy, which has furthered their goals because it made a lot of people feel so helpless
Right.
that, God, if they can kill the president, who am I? You know, what can I do? I'm just one lonely, helpless person. So they quit voting. They abdicated their power. And, of course, through agents like Robert Groden and many others, Oliver Stone, they're being convinced that our government sucks, that our government is the problem, that the Constitution doesn't work, that the Bill of Rights aren't real.
We're playing right into their hands, in other words.
We're playing right into their hands because there's nothing wrong with the Constitution or the Bill of Rights or our government.
It's the people.
You see, it's been infiltrated. And from within, they are eating at the heart of this nation like a cancer, this secret society. They are destroying it. They are subverting it. Our Constitution has not been allowed to work since 1945 and maybe even earlier. And they have been working behind the scenes to bring about a one-world totalitarian socialist government with the Communist Manifesto as its platform through the United Nations, which was created by this nation from an older organization called the League of Nations, which was the original foundation. And at the highest levels of our government, the Constitution's already been scrapped, and they are working under the aegis of the UN Participation Act and the United Nations Charter.
Which says what?
Which says that there are no rights, there are only what you call privileges. And privileges
Yeah.
can be granted or taken away at will by the state.
Quite frightening scenario.
It's a very frightening scenario, and people better wake up to the fact that unless they wake up and do something about it now, there's only going to be one alternative. And that's either take up arms, restore the Constitution, and the blood will run in the streets of America, or reach down and put the shackles around your own feet and march off into slavery peacefully. The guy you wanted to marry or something like that. You're playing right into their hands. You know, they made it so impossible for another Abraham Lincoln to get elected to the office of president that it's a wonder that we even have a chance at all. We need to send people to Congress and to government who are going to clean house. Kick all the members of secret societies out of the bureaucracy. Lock them.
See, when this came out, when was this recorded? 1990. This is 5 years older than me. He was killed. He was murdered 10 years later. This was like crazy to say in 1990. This was a wild. This like saying this. I mean, maybe I was just too young when I was in like 2005, but no one was talking like this, at least around me. And it was like you're nuts. That's a crazy. Oh, this guy's whacked out. Ooh, blah, blah, blah. But it's because it was like, it wasn't so obvious. What this guy's saying now is like common knowledge, but it's because it's been just implemented. It's here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much more time we have to really like turn back from this at this point. I think that's why it's so blatant. You watch around, you just see these people almost just laughing in our faces because they think they've won. I think good always conquers. I think it's one of those things we're all gonna get pushed to our edge before we say fuck this and stand our ground. I'm feeling like I'm right there. I'm trying to just gather a community, create like-minded individuals that just want to stand for freedom and being alive as a human, not being a slave to the system. I was actually just ranting to a lot of my friends about how fucked I feel looking at how much money gets taken out of my checks every couple weeks for taxes. And like my country still seems like it's fucking gross and falling apart. Everywhere I look, it just seems like everyone's suffering. So why am I paying so many taxes? The amount I'm paying every month in taxes, it should just be fucking. It should be like a Gilded Age. Because if I'm paying that much, I know there's people paying even more of a percentage than me. I know there's people making more than me, and I know there's plenty of people making the same amount as me, people making less, but we're all paying in. There should be so much more for us. It should be such a beautiful place to live. And it's just not. Like I think it's beautiful. There's beauty in the world everywhere, but it's like when you really look at it, the things that like the taxes are supposed to be paying for are not there. So, continue.
Try them for treason, because they are traitors.
So one thing that may help is term limitations.
We must have term limitations, and it must be only one term. And forget all this nonsense that anybody goes to Washington and don't know what's happening. They don't know what's happening simply because they haven't taken the time as citizens to understand how our government works before they ever go to Washington. You see, it should be a process that starts in infancy. It works its way up. And everybody should be taking part in the government.
Now, if someone came in to office with this kind of knowledge and with this kind of intent to really push these people out, would they not be eliminated immediately?
Not if they have the people behind them, because what the people would do in one fell swoop, in one election, would elect people who've never served in government before, kick the incumbents out, send citizens to Washington. And here's the way it has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now, you don't even pay your congressman. You know who pays your congressman? The federal democracy of the District of Columbia. The federal government pays your congressman, who's supposed to be representing your state and you. The federal government is a foreign country to your state.
Yeah.
Why should he represent you?
They don't.
Not only that, but he moves to Washington, D.C. He maintains a residence here, but he doesn't live here. And as long as you re-elect him, he continues to live in Washington, D.C. forever if you keep re-electing him. So they lose all touch with what's back here. They're paid by a foreign government, the federal government. They're not paid by the sovereign state of Georgia or by you. They have to be paid by you. And they have to live here. They can't move to Washington, D.C. They go to Washington, D.C. for one term. Okay? One term only. When that term's up, they have to come back. And you don't pay them exorbitant funds. You pay them just enough to live on comfortably while they're there. No fancy giant cocktail parties, none of this crap. And
Yes.
you take care of their family. See, they don't take their family either. That's the other clue. They leave their family here, where they live. You,
Yeah.
the people of Georgia, take care of their family and their business or their farm or whatever it is they have while they're gone. Now do you think they have a vested interest in representing you?
Yes.
They sure would under those conditions.
Yeah.
But under the conditions they go under now, they have no interest whatsoever in taking care of you.
Now let's look at
The
the current
incentive.
They take care of themselves.
the current crop of presidential candidates. Is there anybody even running that represents something that we're talking about here?
No, all of them are New World people. Songus, in his book, even everything that he's written touts the New World Order. All of it, right
Yep.
from Songus's literature.
They
You're going to see New World Order, New World Order, New World Order, New World Order. Clinton, the governor of Georgia, was selected in 1991
governor
by
of
the
Arkansas.
Bilderberg, governor of Arkansas, was selected in 1991 by the Bilderberg group in Baden-Baden, Germany, to be the new president of the United States. Remember what happened to Gary Hart? What did he do? He went out on a boat with a woman who wasn't his wife, and he was destroyed. Look at Clinton. What's happened to him? Nothing. The press is on his side.
Okay.
They're helping the guy.
I made a mistake. I read this wrong. The book was published in 1990. This is between 1990 and 2000 because he died 10 years later. Oh, this is 91? Here about a year later. Okay.
You know why? Because he was chosen by the people who own the press to be the next president of the United States.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he will be or not. That's up to the American people. But if they get their way, he will be.
Damn, he
Bush.
calls it.
Bush is one of the most heinous criminals that's ever walked on the face of the earth. Bush is the man who's been a CIA agent since his college days. He's a member of the Skull and Bones, the Russell Trust. He was
Yeah,
initiated
buddy.
in a casket with a ribbon tied around his genitalia, which symbolizes that he's a priest in the temple of Isis. A pagan, this guy. This man is a member of the mystery schools.
Well, he has the outward appearance of a good Christian, church-going Christian, no?
They do whatever they have to be approved by the people,
sure.
but in secret, they're not.
And this might not seem related to Project Bluebeam, but the New World Order is absolutely part of it. And this is like the hard evidence of, because you can like, holographic, like fake alien invasion, blah blah blah. That seems a little crazy. How do you have proof of that? It's like, well, I don't. But how else are they gonna? This is like what they did, and they're doing their plan. And it's like the evidence of it, of like they have plans, they want to create a new world order. If they maybe they won't have projections, maybe it'll be something else, drones, this or that, some sort of AI computer-based thing. I think it's going to be holograms. I think it's going to be actual, highly secret, highly advanced technology they're going to throw at us. Lasers, dudes, earthquake weapons, shit like this. But like, this is like setting the stage for that, basically. This is like the factual things that are going on, that actually happen, that basically open the door for this. Because this is also just part of their plans. Like,
Oh, this is a man who practices pagan religious rituals, magic. Doesn't matter what you think of all these things. I'm just telling you, this is what he does in secret.
Mm-hmm.
He is the man who, when he was chief executive officer, when he was president of the offshore division of Zapata Oil, organized and began the first large-scale drug smuggling operations into this country. George Bush is the one responsible for the drugs on the streets. And the war against drugs is not a war against drugs, it's a war against the Bill of Rights. We've already lost the Fourth Amendment in this war.
That's true.
And we're going to lose everything else. You watch
yep,
it,
freedom of speech is
it amazes
gone.
me. People watch on Saturday night, cops, top cops, tough cops,
Yeah.
911. All of these stories that are glorifying the police state, and they're falling right into the manipulation as they watch police with no search warrant, with no court order, break down people's doors, tear out their walls, rip open their mattresses. All in the name of the war on drugs.
Pretty sneaky.
It's pretty sneaky, all right. You see them stop people in the streets, and the guy's got $400 in his pocket. They don't press any charges. They didn't even have any reasonable suspicion to stop the person and search him. And what do? They take their money, and they don't give it back.
Mm-hmm.
And America's watching this. And the stupid idiots, yes, you stupid idiots, you sit there and watch it, not realizing that when you take away that man's freedom, you've also taken away your own. You see, because they can do the same thing to you. Just because you talk a way that they don't like you talking,
Yep.
or because you wear red shoes and they don't like red shoes, they can do the same thing to you.
An
under the
injustice
new
to
law,
one is an injustice to all.
without a court order, without a search warrant, they can break down your door, they can rip open your mattresses, your couches, your walls, they can trash your house. All in the name of the war on drugs. And let's say they don't like the color of your shoes. All they
Yeah.
have to do is drop a little pouch of cocaine in your living room, behind your couch, and find it and say, aha, you're a drug dealer. What happens then? Now they can confiscate your house, all your possessions, all your property, all your bank accounts, all your cars, boats, vacation cottages, whatever you have. And they can auction it off within 24 hours without ever even pressing charges against you.
Yep.
Without a court order, without due process, without just compensation. And there's not a damn thing that you can do about it. Not a damn thing.
At least right now.
At least right now. And the reason you can't do a damn thing about it is because you're the one who brought it about through your stupidity. You're mentally crippled. You're operating from a position of ignorance, apathy, abdication, irresponsibility. And we're losing our country, our freedoms, everything.
Now, these are strong accusations of the American public. What do you hope to accomplish by angering the very audience that you want to watch and listen to you?
Go prove me wrong. Go make me the idiot. In so doing, you're going to find out what the truth is, and maybe you'll wake your up. And if you do, maybe we can save our country. Because I don't really care at this point whether you get mad at me or not. My country's disappearing. My freedoms are disappearing. My daughter's going to live as a slave in the New World Order if you people don't wake up and help me. So, if I had a 2x4, literally, I would smack you upside the head with it. I don't care if you get mad at me. It's beyond that state. You know, I'm willing to put my life on the line. Why would I care if you get mad at me?
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know?
they did.
People say, well, don't you feel threatened? Don't you feel like your life is in danger? Are you kidding? You're the people who sent your sons and daughters to fight an illegal, immoral, unjustified war in the Middle East? And that didn't bother you a bit that they might have got killed over there? And you're worried that I might get hurt or killed? Right here, really defending my country? Really fighting in defense of the Constitution?
Right. You brought up the Persian Gulf War. That's something that's still on a lot of people's minds. Based on what you're saying, what was the reason for that war?
They should feel really guilty. They should feel really bad about that.
I mean, what about a Saddam Hussein that everyone seems to agree is the evil man here, that we had the right to go in and punish, destroy, or whatever?
Well, it's funny that the man who purported to want to destroy Saddam Hussein was the man who really built Saddam Hussein when he was in the Central Intelligence Agency. We have been building up Saddam Hussein's arsenal. His technology comes from us in the Soviet Union. We built him up to create that war. We did it for a purpose, and the purpose was, look at this, if George Bush knew what he was doing, how come he didn't know what he was doing? Here's what he said. We've got to send troops to the Middle East because we can't afford to pay $26 a barrel for oil. That's on tape.
Huh.
Next he comes out and he says, no, it's not about the price of oil. It's because Saddam Hussein's not going to stop at Kuwait. He's going to go into Saudi Arabia, and those are our friends, our buddies. So we got to go defend Saudi Arabia. And then James Baker says in a press conference, nope, it's not about Saudi Arabia. It's not about $26 a barrel for oil. It's about jobs. Folks, we're going to get you a job, and to do it, we're willing to kill your sons and daughters. Yes, sir, we're going to send them off to get killed so that you can have a job. Prosperity. That's what it's all about.
Well, what was the actual scenario if we hadn't have gone in?
Well, see, that's not the end of it yet. Then George Bush comes out and says, whoa, the White House is flooded for telegrams. They don't want their sons and daughters to get killed for a job. It's not about jobs. It's about naked aggression. Yes, sir, there's a little Hitler over there called Saddam Hussein.
Yeah,
and we're going to go destroy him because the world doesn't need another Hitler. Never mind Pinochet in Chile, who's another Hitler. Never mind all the other Hitlers in the world.
Was that
Never mind Tiananmen Square.
Well, then people would say, well, the American government's not interested in that because money is not in it's the oil here. We're talking about money.
No.
So you're saying it's not even that.
No. They've been planning this war for years. In fact, Arco Press wrote a book about it. The name of the book is Rapid Deployment Forces. It was published in 1985. It names Kuwait as the country. It talks about Operation Bright Star, where they've been practicing the war every year since the early 80s. Sending troops over there practicing the war. Liberating Kuwait. It's even named in the book. The whole thing was spelled out years ago. What it was all about was to establish the New World Order. You see, because for the first time in the history of the world, it's established the legal international precedent that the United Nations could pass a resolution and send its police force to enforce that resolution, and that the member nations would have to pay for that action. And George Bush said it very clearly, but nobody was listening when he said, no longer will any nation stand against a world united. And with that action, he established the legal foundation in international law that the United Nations is now legally and overtly the one world government, and that the United States military forces and the other forces that were sent by other countries were established as the one world police force under the United Nations. Have you seen the new Air Force uniforms yet? Nowhere on them does it say United States or U.S. They are United Nations uniforms. Go look at them.
What role in the Middle East, again, does Israel play in this?
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecy, a war that will be so terrible, where nuclear weapons will be used, so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. And what is the answer to that? They're going to be told the only way we can guarantee no more war is if we destroy the sovereignty of nations and we come together as one humanity in a one world government.
Right.
Now I'm telling you, unless the American people wake up and stop it, starting in about 1996, the Battle of Armageddon will become a reality. Not because two nations got mad at each other and decided to fight, and that's why Saddam Hussein was not destroyed. He will be the instrument that will bring that to pass.
Right. Yeah, they purposely did not go in and do that.
Saddam
Says
Hussein
US
will
on
be
the
portrayed as
pins.
the Antichrist. Babylon is in Iraq. Read the book of Revelations, whether you believe in anybody was listening when he said, no longer will any nation stand against a world united. And with that action, he established the legal foundation in international law that the United Nations is now legally and overtly a one world government, and that the United States military forces and the other forces that were sent by other countries were established as the one world police force under the United Nations. Have you seen the new Air Force uniforms yet?
Yep, we just
Nowhere
looked at
on them does it say United States or U.S. They are United Nations uniforms. Go look at them.
What role in the Middle East, again, does Israel play in this?
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecy, a war that will be so terrible, where nuclear weapons will be used, so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. And what is the answer to that? They're going to be told the only way we can guarantee no more war is if we destroy the sovereignty of nations and we come together as one humanity in a one world government.
Right.
Now I'm telling you, unless the American people wake up and stop it, starting in about 1996, the Battle of Armageddon will become a reality. Not because two nations got mad at each other and decided to fight, and that's why Saddam Hussein was not destroyed. He will be the instrument that will bring that to pass.
Right. Yeah, they purposely
Saddam
did not
Hussein-
go in and do that.
Saddam Hussein will be portrayed as the Antichrist. Babylon is in Iraq. Read the book of Revelations. Whether you believe in the book or not, read it, because the
They're
men
playing
who are
it.
bringing this about are using it as their script.
Well, the UN did indeed charter Israel as a sovereign nation. They were the ones who created this state.
That is correct. It was really created by Great Britain and the United States, with the United States being the major instigant.
Okay, and the Jewish people were then being manipulated into believing it was for some other reason.
That's correct. They've always been manipulated. And I get people who still come to me all the time and say, Bill, you're all wrong. It's the Jews. The Jews are subverting the world. Man, it's not the Jews. It's not the Catholics. It's not the blacks. It's these men who belong to the ancient mystery schools, who meet in secret and decide the fate of the world. And they belong to all different races and all different nationalities and all different religions to the public point of view. But in secret, it's a different story.
How about the European community? Here seems, based on your theory, another group of sovereign nations coming together to form one
The
government.
European community, the EEC, was created by the Central Intelligence Agency, working through a lodge in Italy called the P2 Lodge. Propaganda 2 is the name of it, which is the intelligence arm of the Vatican. And Prince Bernard, who is the leader of the secret World Council that controls these secret societies around the world, called the Bilderberg Group. And that's the truth of the matter.
And well, during its creation, they just threw out Margaret Thatcher. She was really opposing this.
Yes, she was, and that's why she got ousted.
Okay.
So did the Shah of Iran. So did Marcos. Anyone who opposes it gets ousted. That wasn't an overthrow of Marcos by the people in the Philippines. It was organized, instigated, and carried out by agents of the Central Intelligence Agency and the KGB. The overthrow of the Shah of Iran, our intelligence community is trying to tell us they didn't know anything about it. They didn't know what was happening. Bullshit. They organized it. They instigated it. They are the ones who caused it to come to pass. You see, because we didn't have a National Security Agency or a Central Intelligence Agency before the UN Participation Act was signed. And these organizations were created to bring about the one world government, the New World Order. And it had to be done in a manner that the people would not know that it was being done, and the only way they could do that was hide it behind the veil of national security. And the Cold War was a manipulation maintained to bleed the people of tax dollars to fund the creation of the police force of the New World Order, which is the Army, Navy, and Air Force and Marines of the United States and the Soviet Union. And the people didn't rise up in the Soviet Union and overthrow communism. It came from the top down because it had to be done. There has to be a bringing to the same level of all the peoples of the world. to approximately the same political viewpoint, so there's not big disparity in order to be able to justify the merger of all these countries together.
Well, who now is ruling the forces of the former Soviet Union? You have Yeltsin in now. Gorbachev supposedly went down, but we're not sure about that.
Well, let me tell you this. From the beginning, there was never any war between the United States and the Soviet Union. It was created by those at the top to fund the New World Order and the New World Order's police force. At the highest levels of all countries, they all belong to the same club. And we, the people, sit back and we watch this grand drama which is being played out for our benefit, not theirs. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't even have to do any of this. But you see, they just can't come out and destroy all of us because they need slaves. They need people to make their shoes and make their cars and mine the ore. They need worker bees, and that's what we are. In the New World Order, we will be the worker bees, the slaves.
So the Orwellian view of the vision of the future wasn't too far off based on this scenario.
George Orwell was just like me. He was a low-level member of British intelligence who was appointed to a position high enough where he saw the same documents that I saw. And he tried to warn the world just like I'm trying to warn the world, only he wasn't willing to take the risk that I'm willing to take. So he wrote it in a book called 1984 and spelled out exactly what's coming as a warning to the people of the world, as a work of fiction. But you notice that that work of fiction really stirred people up because they knew that it wasn't fiction. In their heart of hearts, everyone who's read that book knows that it's coming.
It's a possibility.
Most people won't recognize it overtly or publicly, because then, if they recognize it, they have to be responsible to do something about it. And that's what every one of you have been resisting all your life, is being responsible to do something about it, to get involved. That's why you'll walk away from a girl being raped on the street by a gang of thugs rather than go and try to help her. And I'm not talking to all of you. I know there's some of you out there just like me, but most of you are just exactly what I've just described. Most people are no better than animals who do not have intelligence because they don't use their intelligence. And to these men who control things behind the scenes, you are stakes on the table by choice and consent, and will always be ruled and manipulated and enslaved by people who do use their brains.
As long as we're debunking some myths, because it's putting pieces of this puzzle together, I think, for a lot of people that may be watching. The hostage situation in Iran that got Carter out of office, is this another orchestration? And if so, how does it fit into the
October surprise is no myth. There was a deal made. There was a deal made at the highest levels to keep the hostages until after Reagan was elected. Do you really believe that it was an accident, that it was a coincidence, that 30 minutes after Ronald Reagan was sworn in, took his oath of office, the hostages were released?
Did they want Carter?
People should be able to get rich if they want to, by the sweat of their individual labor. Okay?
Nice. I want to just get in.
Bill Cooper, is this true? Look what I got in the mail. And just literally flipped the world over on its ear. And I've been in front of the public ever since. So I think basically those are the reasons. They don't believe that the public's really going to listen to me, and so far that's been true. There is a small group of people all over the world who are awakening, who are beginning to understand that they've been living their life in fantasy land, and who are actively seeking the truth. But by and large, when the secret power structure says, as I've put in the first chapter of my book, right out of one of their own technical manuals, that a nation or world of people who do not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence, and thus are stakes on the table by choice and consent, they're absolutely right about the majority of people. Is one of the things that has been an illumination to me, is that they're not always wrong. And many of their goals are the right goals, but the method that they're using to reach that goal is the wrong method. In other words, if you set out to create a perfect world where there will never be any more killing, but to reach that point, you kill 2 billion people, you have become what you're trying to avoid. Right. And it can't happen that way. If you want to create a world of peace, it has to be done by peaceful methods.
Can't fight fire with fire.
If you murder someone to destroy a murderer, you have become what it was you set out to destroy, and thus it wasn't destroyed at all. It was perpetuated by that very action. And that's
fighting fire with fire burns the world down. So
these men are doing.
Think about that the next time you want to get revenge on someone. Because obviously defend yourself by any means, Don't just get beat up, but within reason.
They rationalize everything they do so that they feel better about it. But what they are doing is becoming what it is that they want to get rid of. And the world will never be a safe place for anyone as long as there are men who do these things.
Very eloquently said. Thank you. Now,
you.
your message to people, once again, is don't believe anything. How is it that the public can find this and search for this truth on their own if they can't believe anything or anyone? What can you do?
It's all in the public sector. It's all available to anyone who actively and diligently seeks it out. Everything that's in my book, Behold a Pale Horse, is all. Everything in here, all the documents that are in here, everything that's in this book is in the public domain.
Can be substantiated?
Yes, and I intentionally wrote this book not using anything that wasn't available to the public to show people that, yes, if I can find this information, so can you. I have tons of stuff that's not available to the public. But as you can see by reading this book, you don't need that stuff because it's what you need is available to you. Public libraries are overflowing with the proof of what's really going on in the world, but nobody really utilizes it to the extent that they're able to pick this out and put it together. Another thing I've done for people is I've put it together for them so that they can see the overall picture rather than looking at small things and thinking that it's isolated. Nothing is isolated. It's all part of a big puzzle. And the puzzle is coming together, and when the puzzle is assembled, it's going to be a one-world totalitarian socialist government that nobody's going to like except the people that are running it. It's Hitler all over again. And the rationalization is we're going to create the world without war.
The utopia.
The utopia. But they will never create that utopia because they're not dealing with the problem that makes them want to create it, and that is the inherent flaw in each individual human being that makes us do the things that we do. Until that's overcome, there's never going to be a world without war or without rape or without killing or without robbery, and anybody that thinks that there is has already gone off the deep end.
So the method is, here, I'm going to hold a gun to your head so you won't rape, you won't kill.
That's right.
Yes, okay, I understand. The title of your book, Behold a Pale Horse, what significance does that have? What are you saying with this title?
This title is from the book of Revelations, because I have to tell you this, and you may think I'm nuts if you want to, but this is the truth. Either these men are following the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is in the Bible. They're either following it, just like a plan, and bringing the prophecies in there to pass to manipulate and control those who believe in those prophecies and neutralize them, so to speak. In other words, if this is written in the Bible and God has ordained it, who am I to resist? It must come to pass. So I'm not going to try to stop it.
Okay.
What a perfect way to neutralize the opposition right off the bat. Or there really is a God, and what he said was going to come to pass is coming to pass. And I named this, Behold a Pale Horse, from chapter 13 of the book of Revelations. The fourth horse, the fourth horseman of the apocalypse is the pale horse. And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death. And hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with the beasts of the earth. And that is taking place now today. The fourth horseman is riding across the world now.
Damn. Whew. I mean, stay pure, guys. I don't know. I don't want it to be like too black-pilled on anything. Because I have hope in my heart that we're all going to be all right. Just have faith. Just that things are going to be just fine. But it's probably going to get pretty gnarly before it's just fine. You know what I mean? But always, you know, the human spirit has always fucking persisted. You know, just don't ever give up. We're going to be good, guys. We got this. We got this, guys. I mean, he was talking about that stuff, what, 35 years ago? Like, it's just eerie how it's like really kind of seems, I don't know, you know? But the fact that it hasn't, like, fully happened yet, you know, like we haven't had nuclear war yet, makes me believe we are being protected by some force, whether that's just human kindness or supernatural force. I don't know, but I think we're all protected. I think we're all gonna be okay. I think there's a lot of dark forces at play that we just gotta overcome, not let it take us down, you know. But I think this is it. I think this is it for me. I think we're about done with this one tonight. But I think I gotta read that Behold a Pale Horse. I think we should all read that book. Just get into it. See for ourselves what he's talking about. See what it sounds like in today's language and today's world, see how it compares, you know. But yeah, Project Bluebeam also, just keep your eyes out on that too. You start seeing the Messiah in the sky and getting thoughts in your head, like, just, you know, don't just fall for it immediately. Really just try to find the truth of what's happening, you know. But all right, see you. Bye.